The Detroit Lions have quite literally been bitten by the injury bug, and we're losing player after player. That's usually what happens at this point in the season. And about an hour and a half to 2 hours ago, this news broke, and that is kind of something we might have seen coming. And that's, according to Ian Rappaport, says the Lions are placing wide receiver Kalif Raymond on injured reserve, sources say, because of the foot injury he suffered last Sunday. He's expected to return and could play again before the regular season finishes. Either way, he's almost certainly back for the playoffs. And that absolutely sucks, man, because Kalif Raymond, this dude, has been one of those guys that's been with us from the very beginning, a pillar of who the Detroit Lions have become over the past few years. This guy right here, man, Kalif Raymond, has been a pillar for our team. A guy that was there from the dirt, from ground level, from the beginning of the retool, and we knew it to be a rebuild. And now for the second straight year, he's going to miss games that are crucial. The good news is, I guess if you can see an upside to this, is that last time he was hurt right before the playoffs and he missed the entirety of the playoffs, which sucked. I think we really could have used him. This time he was hurt early enough in the season in week 12. We still have 6 more games to go at this point. 4 games minimum would mean that the earliest he could return would be that San Francisco 49er game. That would be great. He didn't play them last year. But you're talking about the 21-day window opening at that point. So you're looking like if you open him for the 21-day window now and he doesn't immediately come back, I'm guessing we will not see Kalif Raymond again in a game until the playoffs. Because what sense does it make to bring him back with the possibility of him getting hurt again and then not being able to use him in the playoffs? Now, I really can't call it Kalif Raymond injury prone. I mean, these guys, if you're returning a kickoff, you are getting destroyed. And I was up, I didn't see. As a matter of fact, so this happened in the third quarter, I believe. I was actually in Lucas Oil, and I was standing off to the side. They got this big old open, where you can see the light coming through the arena. On the opposite side of that, there's more windows, but there's a giant spot that you can stand, and you got like bar tables and stuff like that, and you could like sit there and kind of sit, watch the game from that view. So I came back to I stood up the whole third quarter because I was driving and I had been sitting. I mean, I sat for like 10 hours in the car, so I wanted to stand up, stretch out a little bit. And they're like, yo, they brought the cart out for Kalif. I'm like, you got to be kidding, man. So I didn't see the injury. I don't want to see it, but I heard that it did not look good. So that sucks for Kalif Raymond. Now, here is the issue that we've been talking about when it comes to injured reserve. So the Detroit Lions, every NFL team gets 8 people to elevate from injured reserve during the season. You cannot start the season on injured reserve unless you are part of the designated to return. There's only 2 spots for that. The Detroit Lions use those 2 spots on Emmanuel Mosley and Broderick Martin, so you can push those aside. They get 2 additional spots to add to the 8 if they make the playoffs, which they will. So in essence, they will have 2 spots. Now we start getting to the point where who comes back and who does not, who can be put up for the year. So let's take a look at the current injured reserve list. Kalif Raymond is not on here. He's not on here. So back-to-back weeks, we lost 2 of our core players, and both of them are now on IR. So who is coming back? Who's going to be put on the shelf? I'm only going to mention the ones that are potentially could return. Alex Anzalone, and keep count with me. So Alex Anzalone is 1. He's out 6 to 8. So his earliest that we could see him, if on the earliest side, is the playoffs as well. So I say Alex, we're going to hold a spot open for him. That's 1. Then we're going to talk about guys that are possibility of coming back. Derek Barnes, he could come back at any minute. His 21-day window could open. That's 2. John Kaminsky, the Lions literally put him on the roster to start the season because they expected him to be back near the end. That's 3. So far, Barnes, Kaminsky, and Alex Anzalone. Then a guy who could also come back, Aiden Hutchinson. That's now 4. If he comes back, he's going to be back earliest for the playoffs. Fatu Melifonwu, that's now 5. And then you have Ennis Rakestraw. That's right, we put Ennis Rakestraw on IR all in the same week as we did Alex Anzalone, I believe, earlier this week. So that is now 6, right? If I stayed on it. And then you have 7 with Jalen Reeves-Maybin. You can see that Kalif Raymond is not added to this, so that would be 8. So those are the entire in-season IR spots. And those are, just mentioned the guys that could come up. So if you look at Melifonwu, he essentially burned 2 spots because he was put on IR, he was lifted from IR, he was put back on IR. So if he comes back, that'll be essentially 2 elevations that have been burned. So now what this means is that if all of these guys come back, that's now 2, and we counted 7 people. If all of these guys come back, that means that including the playoffs, we have room for 1 more elevation for the entire season. So that means if somebody gets hurt and they go to IR, only 1 more elevation can happen. Now, I guess the upside is that everyone else on that list that I did not mention, those guys are known put up for the season. They're done. Nate Lynn, Kyle Pecco, all those guys are done for the season. Antoine Green, Marcus Davenport, they have no chance of coming back. They're all done. That is the good news, I guess. So, including the playoffs. And if we weren't making the playoffs, then we would have had to sit somebody. Somebody wouldn't be able to come back up. One of those people that I mentioned wouldn't be able to come back up. So we have 6 more games. We have 1 more person that can get placed on IR, and all of the people that I mentioned, and that 1 person could come up, and that's it. That's it. The good news is this, though. If somebody is hurt, you don't want to place them on IR. The benefits of an IR is, one of them is to open up a roster spot, okay? So you could do like you did last year with Tracy Walker. Tracy Walker was inactive the entire second half of the season. He was over there in street clothes. So you could have a guy that you don't place on IR. He doesn't play, but you cannot open that roster spot. And that's, like I said, that's one of the perks of injured reserve. So Kalif Raymond, man, one of these, I have a feeling that we're not going to see him. We're not going to see him because if you're the Detroit Lions, you're like, okay, he got to miss 4 games. That takes us through, we've got the Bears, we've got the Packers, we've got the Bills, we've got the Bears again. Earliest he could come back, if he just, his 21-day window, and he's just like, let's say it's a high ankle sprain, and he's ready to go after 4 weeks. His 21-day window, he opens, he comes back, he plays in the San Francisco game. If he gets hurt, you got San Francisco, Minnesota, then he'll be no good for us in the playoffs, which will be the 2nd year in a row. So I really think that it's really possible that he doesn't play as far as in the regular season anymore. Now, the thing about this is now we have now lost a wide receiver. So now we have Donovan Peoples-Jones, Maurice Alexander that we brought back, and we have Tom Kennedy. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think it's a real possibility that the Detroit Lions are going to elevate Donovan Peoples-Jones to the 53-man roster, because now we're back to 5 wide receivers, right? We got St. Brown, St. Brown, Jamison Williams. We've got Allen Robinson, Tim Patrick, and there's one more that I'm missing because we had 6. There's one more that I'm missing. I don't know why I can't. Hold on, because it's going to drive me crazy. Let me see. Yeah, they still got Kalif on the active roster. Who am I missing? Oh, Allen Robinson, St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Tim Patrick. No, I wasn't. Tim Patrick, Kalif Raymond, Allen Robinson, Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams. So now, minus Kalif, now we only have 4 on the active roster. When did that happen? I know we had 6. Then we went, I don't know. So my prediction is that we are going to elevate Donovan Peoples-Jones sign Donovan Peoples-Jones to the active roster. And we're going to elevate Maurice Alexander. That's what we're going to do. It's possible. And then what will happen is Tom Kennedy only has 1 more elevation. So we'll elevate, if we elevated Maurice Alexander because let's be real, Maurice is not a receiver, especially not like Kalif. So if we elevate, this is when Isaiah Williams would have been great to have. This is like, hindsight is 2020, but this is when he would have been great to have. He is exactly like Kalif Raymond, so we could have really used Isaiah Williams. But so my prediction is that Donovan Peoples-Jones will come up. He will take the 5th wide receiver spot. And then Maurice Alexander, a combination of him and Tom Kennedy, because we know Tom's going to clear waivers. Maurice and Tom Kennedy will come up. They will fill the return void for Kalif Raymond. Maurice has all 3 elevations. Tom only has 1 left. So Tom could be first. Then he gets waived. Maurice comes back, or Maurice does it. Tom comes back, and then we go from there. So that's what I think happened, man. But Kalif Raymond, I hope, man. So that means that I'm going to tell you what. We miss James Houston. We have not replaced him. There's nobody, you know, we got Wingo and well, he's on the active roster, but we've got Mitchell Agude. We've got, what's the guy? Isaac Uku with 1 more elevation. Could they be elevated? Check this out. This is when Bruce Irvin was already signed with the Detroit Lions this time last year. I think that there's a making for some. I'm going to keep knocking the door down, man, until we go get this guy. Jason Pierre-Paul is sitting out there. Just a little quick NFC North news. Daniel Jones decided to sign with the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. And Shaq Barrett, who retired from the Miami Dolphins, he will not be a Detroit Lion. That's not what the corresponding move was for James Houston was for yesterday. So according to the insiders with on NFL Network, Shaq Barrett he has until today, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. You have until week 13 to unretire. If you don't, you're put up for the season. But here's the catch. Miami Dolphins have the rights to him. So if they say no, they're not going to welcome him back. He is done for the year. That's what the insider said. He can't, because they hold the rights, he's done for the year. So I thought maybe he could be released or waived, but I guess it'll be out of time, because if the deadline passes and they haven't made it, so if the Miami Dolphins have not made a decision by 4 o'clock, he's put up for the year. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think that's what that move was for, but yeah, we shall see. So I think that Jason Pierre-Paul will be a Detroit Lion by the time the season's over. I really, truly believe that, because now if we bring up one of these guys to the active roster, that's going to open another spot on the practice squad. So that's what I think. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Don't forget about the Green Gridiron Black Friday sale that's going on. You get anywhere from $50 to $1,300 off site-wide your purchase. And I showed the cool LED infinity lights the other day, and I think somebody already made a purchase, man. So I appreciate y'all. I will see you in the next video.